Welcome to our Dream to Rise podcast. It's another episode with another special guest we have, and we met in one of the sessions and networking sessions of She Rises, and both of us are authors of She Rises Studios, and she's a relationship coach and an intuitive energy healer, a homeopath, an author, a wife, and a mother of two beautiful kids. So, as a
Yes.
doctor of homeopathy and an energy healer, she has been engaging in the healing and personal transformation industry for more than 15 years. And she has been helping men and women heal, grow, and transform into best versions of themselves and live life in abundance with a soulful, loving relationship. She is qualified as an MD in homeopathy and started her career as a doctor of homeopathy in India, where she was born and raised. Later in her practice, she got certified in various healing modalities like theta healing, Reiki, EFT, access bars, angel therapy, crystal healing, prana violet, and a lot more.
Everything,
Yes,
everything.
and she is an internationally certified yoga instructor and also a channel of light language and light codes. She brought in the science and intuitive energy healing together to help her client heal and transform. She's also, as what I'd mentioned, she's an author of two international bestseller books, The Soulmate Mantra, A Woman's Guide to Find Love, and co-author of Wounds to Wisdom. Without further ado, I would just like to welcome Falak Shaikhh. Welcome, Falak.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that lovely introduction. And thank you so much for having me here today.
Same here, same here. It's an honor to have you here and um, help and add value to our listeners, no, through what you have gone through in life. And I'm sure they are only waiting for our stories to be heard, because a lot of our listeners or a lot of people are just stuck in their dark bubble and don't know what action step to take. And it's all about themselves. Uh, a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of fears. But
Yes.
let's go ahead, and I would just like, as what I've asked before the session, before we were on live, uh,
Yeah.
can you tell us something about yourself that brought you to where you are right now? If possible, your story. And
Yes.
uh-huh.
So, as I said, that I was born and raised back in India in a Muslim family, a very conservative one, I can say. And my journey started with my trauma, I can say, with my father. I had a very hateful relationship with my father because my father was a typical old masculine man who was the head of the family, and my mother was a homemaker. And I always saw them fighting. And she being a homemaker, she always said that I can't walk out of the relationship and have to take it as it comes. And looking at my mother, it was really difficult for me, and I had made up my mind that I would not be ever in this place where I cannot be on my own and feed my kids, or so the first goal I had set in my life was to be independent.
Mhm.
And this is when I had decided at a very young age that I want to be a doctor, that I want to be a doctor and heal people. And my hate for my father kept increasing because of his mistreatment, because of his domination, or just because the way he treated my mom. And that created a lot of hatred in my heart for him. And as I was growing up as a teenager, he had also, being in a Muslim family, he had this mindset that, oh, you are a girl, you shouldn't do that, you are a girl, you shouldn't wear that, things like that. And that created more of that hatred and feeling restricted by him. So my conflict with him actually had me question my life, like, that why I have a father who doesn't love me, why I have a father who is so controlling and so dominating, and why I cannot have my freedom to be as I want to be, and since I had already a background in holistic healing, and I was becoming a doctor of homeopathy at that moment, I had that insight or an inner wisdom of wanting to get in touch with my feelings, with my experience, with my perception of the reality. Because this is exactly what we were taught to see in patients, like, that the blockages in the energy, the blockages in the emotions, and the altered perceptions of the reality actually causes a disease. And when I started understanding myself, I started putting out this question on why. And that was my point where I started looking for places where I can find those answers. And that was one place when I came across this healing modality called theta healing, where I got to know that it has the power to transform and change your negative beliefs. And I had come to an understanding that whatever life that I have created, or my father in my life, is because of my thoughts and my limiting beliefs, that whatever I'm experiencing with him, the is because something in me needs to be changed. At that moment I had no idea, but I was looking for answers, and that came and that caused me to get into learning theta healing. And the whole theta healing experience of learning that how our belief system, negative belief system, causes us to behave in certain manner, to have those feelings. And the whole relationship with my father, I understood that I had so much of fear of suppression by him, that and fear of being controlled. And because I had already seen my mom, like, so I had this fear of not being like my mom. And actually, in the reality, I was not like my mom. I was independent. I was already a doctor. But this fear in my mind led me to becoming more independent, more into my masculine energy, making sure, like, that fear of being dominated and the fear of being controlled takes you to the other polarity, where you want to dominate the other person, where you become the controlling person. And when I worked around all that patterns that I had been holding onto, I could let go of my father. I could let go of that hatred that I held towards my father. And I realized that he is just a medium to teach me my lesson, that I don't have to have hold on to this fear. And I'm already, the freedom is within me already. I could understand that the suppression that I'm seeing, that my mother is experiencing, actually it is her victimhood that she is stuck in. And I don't have to be in such a victimhood state, like, and that resolved my relationship with my father. Like, my
May I,
father had,
sorry, may I ask you, because you mentioned about letting go of
yeah,
that negative feeling towards your father.
yeah,
Will you be able to share with us how did you let go? What are the simple steps did you take for you to let go of your father? Because being in an abusive relationship, I don't know if it's physically abuse, he was physically abusive, or emotionally, mentally, but it creates so much impact to the family, especially to
yeah,
the children. And
absolutely.
a lot of us, a lot of the children, they still keep it with them,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
themselves for how many years? And it was hard for them to let go, to forgive.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know what was the major step which you took to let go of that negative thoughts towards your father.
Yeah. So definitely there wasn't any physical abuse, but there was an emotional abuse. There were negative remarks, criticism. And the one thing that I can't forget was, like, that he used to tell me, and that caused a lot of trouble in my relationship aspect, because he told me that I was ugly and I would never ever find a guy who would love me. So that was a major impact that I had on myself. However, coming back to letting go was, like, when I resolved, when I understood that it is something in me that needs to be changed, and it is not him. He is a mirror of only what's within me and my shadows. And the moment I learned my lesson, the moment I learned what he had to teach me here in this life, I was able to let go of the resentment. Like, the resentment is one thing you are able to let go when you integrate what is that you had to learn from that. So when I learned my lesson that I don't have to be in this victimhood. Like, I felt like a victim in that moment, and he being the aggressor. But when I let go of that victimhood and took responsibility of my life, took my power back in that way, only then I was able to see that, okay, he doesn't have any power over me, because I'm being the victim and he's playing the role of an aggressor. So letting go is possible when you are able to have that insight, that understanding, that what you had to learn with this person. And when I integrated that lesson, okay, I take my power back, I'm no longer a victim, I take responsibility of my life, I was able to move to forgive, because you cannot come to a place of forgiveness when you are holding on to resentment. Like, that I'm so resentful, and everybody says forgive him. But why do I have to forgive him? He was so bad to me. Why? It's easy for you to say, but someone who has experienced that and been there, it's not possible to forgive him. But when I integrated this lesson with the understanding that he's just a mirror of something that I need to learn, like, he's here to teach me that lesson, and I need to learn and grow out of it. His things, his, like, I did have like off and on things. Like, it is not like, oh, all roses, like, it wasn't like that. But I had a better understanding of that. He has his trauma that he came from, he has his wounds that he came from, and he doesn't know how to be better. But that doesn't mean that he has to do, like, I started communicating with him
Oh, good.
uh, clearly, like, because I was in that victimhood and I was traumatized by him. I was into a lot of fear, and I never communicated what I felt or what I was experiencing. So I started opened up to communicating that I understand where you are coming from, I understand you have this fear, but I need to have my choice of how I want to live my life, like, and I would kind of address his emotions, his fears, and I would also put down my feelings, what I felt. So that created a kind of sense of trust between us, where we could, like, where he could tell me things, I could tell him things. And he's no longer in this world, and he has passed away. But I'm so glad that I could tell him that I loved him before he passed away.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
so
I would just like to ask, because sorry to interrupt, but knowing your culture and my culture, we were raised with very authoritarian parents
absolutely.
dominating us. Now, when you mentioned that you were able to open up with him, I know it was hard. It was
Yeah,
hard because most of the time they are fixed. They have this fixed mindset wherein I am the father. You should follow me. You should obey what I want to be done here
absolutely.
at home.
Yeah.
So how were you able to go through that process wherein what did you do so that he was there opening himself up, ready to listen to you?
Yeah. So honestly, that was a very like, I was very resistant in doing that as well, too, because when you have never talked to your father about emotions, it
Yeah.
was so difficult to even for me to tell him that I loved him, like, and I remember that instead of directly communicating with him, I emailed him
Ah,
that I love him, like, and the one thing that always created a conflict between me and him was that he wanted me to get married, like, and he wanted to choose a guy, and he just wanted, like, arranged marriages in India is
Yes.
very
Usually arranged marriages are in your culture, right?
me to meet guys who arrange marriages, and he was very concerned because I was like in my late 20s, and like in a Muslim family in late 20s, it's like a taboo that, oh, you are still unmarried, like, kind of. So back in India, and at that moment, that created conflict between us, because I always wanted to, because I had seen that arranged marriages doesn't go that well. They hadn't been a good example for me. I always wanted to have, I had this certain idea of how I would like my man to be, and I was waiting that I want to choose by myself. I don't want to just get married for the sake of getting married, or because he's from a good family and he makes money and this and that,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
so for him, I had this very difficult conversation where I explained him that I do not have any affair right now, but I'm looking for a good man whom I can love and he loves me. And I cannot get married in this setup of arranged marriage where you meet the family and the family meets you, and then they see your skills, how you good are at cooking and this and that. So that is not something that I vibrate with. And I want you to understand and give me that freedom to make my choice, like, so
How
that.
did he take it?
And he completely understood, and he
Oh,
understood
good.
that he gave me that freedom where he said, okay, so usually in that ritual where the groom's parents come to see you first, they interview you, and then they see if you can fit in their criteria, like,
Wow.
that. So, and I was like, I cannot, I want to see the person first. If you suggest me a boy, I can go on a coffee date with him, which
Mhm.
was a taboo, not meeting the guy, like, alone kind of
Ah,
a thing. He
yes.
agreed to that okay, I can, because I was practicing as a doctor, he said, okay, I can ask you to visit, he can visit you in your clinic, and you can have a conversation, like, so I said, that's absolutely amazing. I can actually at least know the person first if we can able to even go on a second coffee date,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
so that he was able to understand my perspective only when I communicated, or else he had these fears in his head that I don't want to get married, or I am into some other world, or I'm like, in a bad company, or whatever he has, like, his own fears. So I addressed his fear, that I understand that you are fearful about me, that I might not get married or whatever, but this is what I am looking for, and I need that time and space to find. And that is where the manifestation part comes in, where I was working on myself and on my manifestations in my relationship area, right? So this is how we were able to like, create a bond where we communicated what I felt, like, and how I felt about, and he understood that. He always told me that you have to compromise in a relationship, and I believe that you don't have to compromise, like, if it is the right one, he or she would have, like, I would accept him as he is, and
Mhm.
he would accept me as I am, if we
Yes.
love each other, like, we don't have to put onto compromises in the relationship. And that was a huge relationship learning for me as well, like, seeing
Mhm.
my parents, like, they had been married for more than 30 years, and they were unhappy with each other because they thought that they have to compromise to be
Mhm.
in the relationship with kids. As you know, back in Asian countries, like, getting divorced is a taboo, like, you
Yes, we don't have divorce in the Philippines as well.
yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. So, now you got married to the same nationality, an Indian as well,
Yeah, yes,
and you
yes.
met him in India, or because I know you're now in Canada, right?
Yeah. So I got married back in India. He was, so I found him, like, we were together in school. We had lost touch. I knew him from before, but this was a very kind of universe bringing us together, kind of like, he was in US, he was doing his masters, he had a job, but he coincidentally came back to India, and we met. Oh, how are we are catching up? How is it going? And then we became friends again, and we started talking, and then we found a resonance with each other, and we found that we had same interest, we had same ways of living life, and we were like, the one thing that I was looking in the person was being open to growth, being having an open mind, and who is ready to grow together. And that made me really click with this person, like, and
Great.
because I to tell you, like, I had these 50 things that I had put down in my journal that I wanted in my soulmate. And I can tell you, he had all of those things, like,
When you mentioned about that journal, is it true that you have to list all the qualities that you want in a man? And
yeah,
when you list them down, pray for it. Well, I always pray if this is the right man or what.
yeah.
It becomes a reality. Is it true?
Yes, absolutely. And I believe that, like, when you are listing down those qualities, basically you are not listing down the qualities, but you are bringing in that clarity within yourself of what you really desire. Because most of the times it happens that, like, if I ask anyone, okay, what kind of partner you want? Oh, he should be tall, he should earn this much money, or he should be this. But when you really have that clarity, like, so manifestation works like, if you should be prepared to get it. So you, like, if you really are manifesting something, and if you are not ready for it, it might go wrong. Like, if you have asked for a man, oh, I want a man who is tall, who is handsome, who makes this much money, but what if he's already married?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
so you have to be really specific in your manifestations, like, that I want a man who is single, never married, who is like this. So being very specific in what exactly you are looking for, and then putting down for the universe that bring me this kind of a man in the highest and best way possible, like,
But you know
yeah,
what? As we grow older, isn't it? Uh, the interests we have in guys, like, oh, he should be tall, he should be muscular, he should be making so much money. It changes now, no? As we mature, now
yeah,
it's more about, are we aligned with our
exactly,
values? Are we aligned with our dreams? Is
yeah,
is will I be able to grow with him? Will
absolutely.
and there's no perfect person, really.
Absolutely. Because, and that is why I always say that when you are putting down your manifestation list, always begin with your core values. Like, as a woman, what are your core values? What are you looking for in a relationship? So if like one of my clients, she had this core values where she was looking for a relationship where she can have kids, build a family, who can, like, and they can live together, and she was looking for marriage in a relationship. But when, and her reality that was that she was living with someone who did not want marriage, who did not wanted to have kids. So this kind of really, so once you have that clarity, okay, this is my core values, you wouldn't invest in a relationship which do not have a core value similar to
Exactly.
you.
And
And
yeah,
yeah,
and most of the time we invest so much time. You will tell yourself, anyway, he'll be able to get uh we will be able to grow together, even
exactly,
we have very
exactly,
there's a big gap in our values, but
yeah.
actually it's not.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
won't
it's
work.
not possible, because this is the same example I'll give you. So for this woman who wanted kids and to have marriage, she had been this in this relationship for 6 years, and she waited that he would propose, he would agree to get married, maybe he would change, maybe I can cause him to change, or but it did not, and it was so difficult for her because she has already invested 6 years of her life.
Emotionally attached to
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy.
and I said, however hard it may sound, but the truth is, he will not get married because he's clear on that he's not looking for marriage. Be- and in spite of that, that relationship might be so good, but you need to also understand that you have this desire to have a family, to have kids and have
Yes,
marriage, like, so
exactly.
so she had to let it go painfully, but then within a year she found someone else who was
On the
complete,
same,
yeah, on the same page. And she had been, and she was like, she called me back after a year, and she said that I realized that I was trying to make him into something that I wanted him to
yeah.
be.
Ah,
And this man that I have found now is exactly what I wanted, like, and
see,
that could only happen when I let him go, like,
see. Now, may
yeah,
I ask you, because since we're talking about relationship in the dating stage,
yeah.
is it okay for you to ask the guy, how do you see this relationship? Because,
Absolutely, absolutely.
okay,
Because, like, I think when you are clear on your, um, what I can say is your criteria of why you are dating, like, so are you dating to have fun? Are you dating to be in a relationship? Are you dating and are out there looking for a marriage and a long-term committed relationship? That really helps you filter out your dates.
yeah.
You are not investing in, like, honestly, people who are just around for a casual thing, right?
And
You are investing,
a lot of them, they like only casual dating.
yeah, and like, when you are clear, you are saving yourself a lot of energy, like, that you do not
Exactly. That
invest in
time, energy,
everything,
and then
everything.
frustrations and disappointments, because a lot
Everything.
of guys, if they have I mean, they usually ghost, no? After they
Yeah, absolutely.
receive what they want to get. I mean,
Yeah,
they get what they want
absolutely.
to
So
that's
you're saving your energy, you are saving yourself from getting hurt,
yeah,
and, like, investing in wrong relationships. So I think that is a wonderful thing to put out, that okay, this is, so how are you, like, you can ask what are your plans in the area of your relationship. Are you looking for a committed relationship, or you are just wanting a, so if you are, even if you are wanting a casual relationship, if you are on the same page, you wouldn't feel bad because this
yeah,
is what you wanted, like,
yeah.
and
You're
you're fine
already
with it.
aligned. Yeah.
Exactly,
From the very
exactly.
start. And then if
Absolutely.
it's not aligned, then say bye-bye.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Oh
amazing.
my, nice topic. You know what? Relationship is always a topic that because I value human connection. And
Absolutely.
even though it's easy to um, achieve your goals at work and so on, but it's hard to having a relationship with different people. It's also complicated. It,
Yes.
you have to it's not really huge. You learn how to adapt, not really adapt, adjust and
Yeah.
meet halfway so that both of you could achieve the goal
Yeah.
mutually. There's a mutual agreement, right? So,
And this is like, yeah, this is exactly, what I say is that relationship needs work,
yeah,
needs to be worked upon. So whenever a person says that what work, like, once you're married, it's done, like, now no work. But actually, in order to have a happy, healthy relationship, you need to work on your relationship. You need to nurture it. You need to
yes,
let it grow with
yes.
time, with understanding, with patience, with love, and with awareness. And this is what I exactly say is love is not enough for a relationship to be um, amazing. You need awareness along with love to have a
Mhm,
happy and healthy relationship.
mhm.
Because
Awareness wherein you are aware of where that person is coming from. So communication, respect,
communication, being open, being
honest.
respectful, and honest, and not only self work, but as a couple also you need to work on your things, like, that this is what expressing your needs out of that relationship, because every person have that needs that they are looking for, and making sure that that needs are being fulfilled with each other, like, that okay, this is what I need. Maybe it would be just your time, your attention, like your affection, whatever form,
Yes.
and learning each other's love language.
Mm-hmm. And most of the time, what do you think is the main reason why divorce is happening, or the rate of divorce is keeps on going up? What do you think is the
The
major
most
problem?
most the number one reason that I would say that causes divorces is the baggage that you bring on to the relationship. So
Mm.
if you are carrying the baggage of your own wounds and trauma, and you have not unburdened yourself of that baggage, that is spilling over your relationship. And when it spills over, you have your baggage, your partner has your baggage, and when it spills on the relationship, it gets ugly. So when you both take that personal responsibility of unburdening yourself by healing those wounds and traumas that you have brought to the relationship, only then you would be able to have that bond and connection of love and compassion towards each other. But when you are unaware, or when you have brought that baggage and it spills in the relationship, and you start playing the blame game, that it's because of you and it's because of you, and you don't take that personal responsibility of your healing, that is where the relationship ends, like, or then you are just dragging the relationship. this
So
is the
is
this is the reason that most people call it quits, because they cannot take it anymore, because they think the other person is the problem. But only when you take responsibility, okay, what's in me that I need to change, and what is the trauma that I'm bringing into this relationship, and how I can be a better person, rather than how I can make the other person a better person.
Mm.
Like,
So do you think it is better for you to heal yourself first before you enter into a relationship?
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I totally feel that it's not that that okay, I will first heal myself completely, because self work is an ongoing process. You are a project in making, like, and it's a parallel journey that you do. But of course, like, the basic, at least you should have a open eye to look within, that okay, I am the creator of my reality, and I take responsibility of what I create. At least that, like, at least that openness, because I have seen that most divorces happen when the person is not ready to do the self work.
Mhm.
Like, when they even resist going to therapy, when they even resist to go to see a healer or a therapist or a coach, where they say I am not the problem,
Mm.
where they say I am all good, I everything is fine with me, you need to change, or you have the problem, or you need to adjust. That is when I feel that I don't see hope in this relationship. But when the person is ready and open to see, okay, what is that within me that I can change, or what are my traumas or my woundings that is creating a chaos in our relationship, this is when I have seen that relationships can sail through that difficult time, and they can bond with greater love and greater trust. But if even one of your partner is not ready to do the work, most of the time it's difficult for them to survive in that relationship.
And I could see that why are they not ready, or why they don't agree? It is because of their pride, their ego. That's
Yeah.
usually
It is
the
like, it is the patriarchal conditioning
uh-huh.
at times that we often see more in South Asian families, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
that they have that, oh, I am the man of the house, and you need to
Yes.
do as I say, like, kind of. So that causes a lot of uh, I think it is the conditioning that you see. You saw your father doing that, you saw your you saw your mother submitting to him without questioning, and you expect your wife to do the same in a way, right? So that is the conditioning. And even if a man has that openness to see that, okay, maybe this is my conditioning, this is when the healing begins. Like, the
Right.
growth is possible.
I just love this discussion. I just love this discussion. So
Yeah.
we're what are your goals now in the next 12 months?
So I'm working on my third book, and it is again
Mm.
on relationships and navigating relationships with love and boundaries. So this is
Oh,
what I will be writing about. So I'm working on that. Also, I have recently been registered as a homeopath in Ontario as well.
oh,
So I'm
good.
starting to see my in-person patients and help them with homeopathy and energy healing as well in
Oh, that's
Ontario.
great. And what do
Yes.
you think is, because this is going to be in the next 12 months, what do you think would be the reason for you from achieving your goals?
The one thing that I really feel, and I had been sitting with this emotion since few days, that like, when you give into fear,
Yeah.
this is when that uh, because I had been launching my new in-person setup of healing. It's called the Healing Roots here in Ontario, where I've started seeing homeopathy and clients with for energy healing. You have this fear, like, that, oh, how do I navigate? How do would everything work out? And fear and this disappointment when it doesn't goes the way that you had wished for, or like, you are launching something and you wish this would happen, but oh, it did not went as I wanted. So that I think that are the fear and the disappointment, I think, are the few things that blocks you from really going where you want to go, like, and putting out yourself, being authentic in yourself and not trying to fit in, I think.
Yeah. So what advice would you like to share? A simple advice would you like to share to our listeners?
I feel like any situation that you are in, any challenges that you are facing, I feel adversity is a door to opportunity. So whenever you have an adversity, actually it's an opportunity for you to go to your next level. Like, so don't be afraid of the adversity. And actually, this is also I'm telling to my own self. Like, don't be afraid of the adversity, but like, when you work through it, when you see the wisdom in it, when you see the lesson in it, you are able to see that actually that adversity is an opportunity for you to step up, like,
Yeah. Usually when we fall down, it's really flat on the ground.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
when the time we're in, we learn something, right? And
yeah,
that's how we grow and we earn that wisdom. And
yeah,
that's why a lot of people, oh, I don't want to experience that problem and so on, but that's how you will learn. So
yeah, absolutely.
consider them as blessings.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
So, Falak, thank you so much. But how can our listeners reach out to you if they need to get in touch?
So, yes, I have my Insta account by the name Dr. underscore Falak Sheikh. And I'm also available on Facebook. I have my website. It's called www.falakshaikhh.com. I can give you the links.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia. And I also, if any of the listeners would like to know more about my work and get on a discovery call, I can give you the link for that as well. And my both the books, The Soulmate Mantra and Wounds to Wisdom, are available on Amazon all over the world. So anywhere you are in the world, it's available and you can go check it out.
Yes. And is your the book that you're planning to, the third book, will it be under She Rises Studios?
Yes,
Ah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Oh,
it
that's
is under.
great.
Yeah,
See, She
yeah.
Rises. We're promoting you as well.
Of course, of course. Sriracha.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And they did a great job also with my Dream to Rise.
Wow.
It became an international bestseller, a
Yeah.
best-selling book as on the second day. So I'm so grateful for what they have done for the book as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So Falak, thank you so much for this wonderful time, for sharing your story. It
You're
got
welcome.
me inspired because we were on the same boat. I
Yeah.
was the mother and you were the daughter.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear
And
you.
I could see the perspective of the daughter or the child being abused by, it's not physically abused, but it it's the
Yeah.
same when you're mentally and emotionally abused. Going through the process, it's hard. It's hard. But
Yeah.
here you are now,
Yes.
helping other people, impacting their lives, and that's what we need.
Yeah. And this is the reason that I do what I do right now, actually,
Mhm.
helping people have loving relationships, like, you know.
Yes. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you connected with me after that session, Falak.
Yes, yes. It was like, you know, you feel a call to connect with someone and then you connect
Uh-huh.
and I really need to take some skincare tips from you.
From me in terms of what?
Skincare tips.
Tips.
Looking at you, I never thought you were 63. I mean, look at you.
Now it has been no, I don't hide my age,
Oh, you are
but I'm grateful
inspirational. You
and
are so inspirational for the work that you do and the way you are and the background story of your kids. It's really inspiring.
oh, thank you, and probably that makes me young, being doing what you want to do, right? And
Absolutely.
keep that smile on your face.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will surely get in touch with you next time because I might invite you in my inner circle as well.
For sure. For sure.
Okay.
We'll
Thank you
be.
so much, Falak. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. And till next episode, have a
Bye.
have a blessed day. Thank you. Bye.